how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Redemus Maximus.
This is Jay Lovecraft.
I'm your Star Queen.
And this is 8 Bits and Dice Rolls 2024. Yay! All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a wonderful, happy holidays and a wonderful, happy new year. And that is kind of the theme of this episode. So being the first one of the year, it's like a week or two late. Sorry about that.
Our apologies.
It's just like, nerd culture to take a break and, do things with their friends and all that. And we've been busy every single weekend. So that's pretty much what's been taking our time.
This is true.
Yes. And we're about to do it again later today. So good start to the year here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. So this episode is actually going to be pretty much a recap of 2023, kind of talking about literally anything and everything that's happened. Nerdy movies, video games, cosplay, music, there's a lot that has happened this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and dive in. I know Lovecraft actually had a really interesting one with AI.
Oh, man. Talk about one of the most saddest moments in rock and roll history / heavy metal. To my fellow Kiss nerds. Oh, what a sad departure of one of the greatest rock bands in all of history, and that's Kiss. Tommy Thayer, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and the most awesome drummer in the world, Eric Singer. Wow. They all said a departure forever at Madison Square Garden in New York. Wow. It was just a show that I saw, and it's still available on YouTube, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have to check that out.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Oh, by the way, get a box of Kleenex, because it's not every day when all 4 band members actually start crying.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and, big shout out to Dwarven Forge, Mr. Stefan Porkney, if you listen to this. I saw on Facebook, I'm actually friends with him, that he got a golden
ticket.
Yeah, golden ticket.
Oh.
And I don't know if he actually meant to get it or not, but I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, he better hang on to that, because I checked the internet early this morning. It was like $695.
Jesus. And I think he just got it for free. Like they thought he was VIP or something.
Oh.
Which, I mean, in the nerd world, he is. So.
Yeah, getting one of those tickets, man, it's one of those rare instances in life. If you happen to show up at Madison Square Garden and it's the final tour of Kiss and this is their final show.
Yeah.
Man, you couldn't get better. I mean, see it on YouTube. Just Google the final tour, Madison Square Garden, Kiss, and you're good to go, because you're going to see a ton of people who actually recorded that last show.
Wow.
Yeah. Or even better, when they came to Indianapolis, type in Kiss, end of the road, Indianapolis. And that was a show in of itself, too. They did a Q&A session with the whole 9 yards. So it was just utterly amazing for me. But what was even more controversial was at the end of the show, when they introduced an AI Kiss.
Yeah, and that's the part you were telling me about right when you walked in. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting, they invested $300 million into this project with Industrial Light.
That's it?
Oh, no, there's more.
Oh, I'm sure there.
They invested already $300 million into this new AI project with Kiss. They said, Kiss is immortal now. These characters can't die.
Yeah, the plan is, from what I was able to research, that this is now the 50 years after Kiss project.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I guess, I'm not sure how Kiss is exactly going to do it, if they're going to do, like, the Vocaloid route of just digitizing all the singers' like voices, or if they're going to do like the Gorillaz route where they're still actually recording the songs, but it's just digital avatars that are performing them now.
I think it's going to be a combination of both, because as of this Friday of when we're recording now, they threw another $200 million into this project. So basically, anywhere you are in 2027, there will be a new Kiss, quote unquote, tour. But here's the interesting fact. It's going to be very big, very massive, and when they launch it to the world in 2027, it's going to hit like a bomb.
Aren't they doing that with the Beatles too? Weren't we talking about that?
No.
The Beatles was a little bit different, because what happened there was John Lennon recorded an album before he was sadly killed, and he sent it to Paul McCartney as kind of like a, hey, I'm sorry things, didn't really work out, but this is my apology. And then Paul McCartney and who's the other one that's still alive?
Sure. There is Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr, that was it. He got together with Ringo Starr and they were like, hey, we want to release this new album that would be complete as a Beatles album for the anniversary of the band.
Well, that's actually really cool.
So what they did was they used John Lennon's already recorded song, used AI to basically match what the voice would have been, recorded it with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and who was the other one?
George Harrison.
George Harrison. So it was basically a complete record, but it was just but the AI had learned from previous stuff. So it wasn't entirely new, and it sounded like that was just a one-off. There's not going to be any big, digital resurrection of the Beatles.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it sounded like it was just a one-off for the anniversary of the band.
When I heard that the quote-unquote new song from the Beatles, I immediately ran outside from my workstation at work. And one of my bosses came up to me and said, is this the new Beatles song? Go listen to it. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. You better report back to me. So I did. I love the Beatles. I have this hankering of the world's first greatest rock and roll band in history. And when I heard it, I heard George's guitars. I heard almost practically everything that John Lennon said. And it was just surreal. And then I reported back and I said, boss, this is just damn creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Well, but that's cool though. Lovecraft stayed with us over the holidays and we were talking about Kiss is definitely getting up there in age for sure.
Yeah.
But holy shit, can they still perform?
Yes, they can.
Yeah. What was we were watching the 2014 Las Vegas one, right?
Yes.
Which was 10 years ago now.
10 years to think about that. And they're all in their 70s, early, mid-ish.
Gene is in his early 70s.
Early 70s,
okay,
late
yeah.
60s.
Gotcha. Yeah, because what did we find out? They were 50-ish, 60-ish.
Back
around
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they were still rocking.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe they were still carting around all that metal and everything else that's on them. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
so it's really cool. Yeah.
I would kill for a Kiss show anytime. I don't care if it's YouTube. I don't care if it's on a CD. I will die to see Kiss or hear them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true too. I definitely want to see Aerosmith at least once.
Oh, that's on my bucket list right there
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Well, and I forget who I was talking to, but Steven Tyler looks like my aunt.
Oh, yes.
So
He looks like everybody's aunt.
it's
God.
really weird. He really does. He looks like he's show him what you got, with the cigarette and everything.
Hey, is that my Aunt Maggie? No, it's Steven Tyler. Wow.
Wow. Dude looks like a lady. No copyright, please.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We're broke.
Yeah. Well, Star Queen, you had some interesting stuff going on in 2023. Why don't you recap on some of that?
Well, speaking of music, I actually went to my first show ever, period. And
That is true.
Like a true nerd, I went and saw with Readmus Cybertronics Free Live.
Yes, and for those that don't know, Cybertronics Spree is a
Cover
It's
band.
a dedication cover.
It's a cover band, yes. So yeah, it's a dedicated, band for Transformers music, and they do actually put out their own music as well, which
They
is
just
really
put out
good.
their
I'm actually
new-
impressed.
They just put out their original album this year, which was Ravage, which was really good.
Yeah.
And I guess in 2024, they're going back on tour because a lot of people at the tour were going up to them afterwards because they were at the merch table saying, hey, awesome set, but we wanted to hear more of what just came out instead of, all these cover songs.
We want to see you do the goods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the RC singer, holy crap.
Oh my God,
she
she
can
has
belt.
pipes.
She's got wind, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
When she did Immigrant Song,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, it was I could feel my face melting off. It was amazing.
Yeah, she was hitting notes that you wouldn't think in that small of a amphitheater.
Well, here's the thing. If I know Robert Plant, and I know you're listening, Mr. Plant, when you wrote that song, I bet you're watching every single last performer who could do that song, and you're thinking, can they do it? can they do it?
And it was awesome.
It was amazing.
awesome.
Yeah. They are really good live performers.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, they're dressed like the 80s like G1 Transformers
The
characters too,
costumes
really
are
add to.
bigger than I thought they were going to be too.
They are, yeah, considering like they're kind of small,
It's a small unit.
I would say that
Yeah.
they're maybe a little shorter than me, like as far as like, height and all that stuff. But
Right.
they're, it looks like it's almost like Pepakura mixed with like EVA foam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's been painted to look like kind of cell shady and all those kind of things too. So they really do have that really cool old school look.
Right.
So, and then I always laugh at it too because it looks like they're masks that hide their eyes. It looks like Char Aznable from Gundam, like the original Gundam series. They have space burn on their eyes.
No, but they were really cool. We actually got to meet the band afterwards at the merch table, which
Oh, nice.
Redemus can tell you I was bouncing up and down like
Yeah.
off the walls afterwards. I was so happy.
It was a really just fun experience too, especially when they were doing the Weird Al Dare to Be Stupid
Oh
song.
yeah, but they were really working the
But
crowd.
like it was really
wow.
well done. You would
Yes.
never think that that was a parody song.
You can tell they spent time
Oh, yeah.
in the practice room all the time.
Yes.
So
And who knew Unicron was finger happy on the bass?
yeah,
It was ridiculous.
he's lead guitar.
Or lead guitar, yeah.
Yeah, because he at one point, I guess, shredded one of the strings mid-song and kept going.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
that's a musician.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
That's a musician.
And I found out that Quintesson, the guy in the back, is actually the one who writes most of their songs.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Shockwave plays the drums.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
He was going so hard, he broke his costume.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And let me tell you, there is nothing funnier than hearing Shockwave in a robotic synthetic voice when they're like, "Hey, Shockwave, are you having a good time?"
Fuck you.
Or "Fuck yeah!" Like that's like what he said. It's so funny too. Like everyone was having a good time.
Well, and then there was that bit before, what was it? The touch that Hot Rod was going on about. Oh yeah, this song inspired me, and the first time I heard it, it was in a movie, classic movie that everyone loves, and it was Boogie Nights
Yeah.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but clearly, obviously he knew what he was
Yeah.
referencing. But it was a good time.
It was, yeah, that was a really good time. Really good first show, I think, to go to.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I love going to concerts, especially at the Vogue. If you're
Yes.
local to Indy, they have all kinds of
Yes.
concerts constantly there. And it looks small, but you would be surprised how well the sound carries.
Yeah.
And actually, that band did get a little bit of legitimacy this year because, shockingly enough, at the end of the year, Hasbro on their Transformers page put out a list of like Spotify playlist songs, and Cybertronic Spree was on that list.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And they also performed with Stan Bush this year as well, which
Oh, that's pretty cool.
that show sold out instantly
Yeah.
because for obvious reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence if you're going to actually enjoy Proto Men, but I love it's a rock opera, but it's literally about the story of Mega Man,
Oh, wow.
like the video game. And
Really?
They did it in a rock opera style. So like, think Repo Men, like genetic opera type thing.
Right.
It's a rock opera. That's what the whole entire album is and everything.
Well, when you really
It's so good.
When you really think about it, most bands like say Iron Maiden, who had virtually no radio airplay whatsoever, no advertisement whatsoever, and then all of a sudden here comes these five guys from nowhere. And guess what? They became one of the biggest bands in the world. Rumor has it they may come to Indy.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Indiana really does need more, I guess, just general entertainment.
Musical acts that aren't like, sports or sports related.
Or Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, because they're trying to make downtown Indianapolis into like a sports town now.
Well, they've been trying to do that forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're one of the central spots for, construction work and blue collar jobs
Stuff.
and things like that too. They really need more entertainment.
But here's the thing. Indianapolis is important because we are the nexus in between Cincinnati, Ohio,
And Chicago.
and Chicago.
Which is the problem because a lot of, bigger acts like, honestly, I think Taylor Swift is probably the first big person other than maybe Alice Cooper to come here in quite a long time.
That's true.
Because everyone else, like Beyonce or like anyone who has bigger mainstream relevance, they're just going to look at Chicago or Cincinnati and go, well, I'm just going to perform there. They're better acoustics.
Well, better acoustics, and they don't have a amphitheater that is basically
Outdoors.
they're outdoors. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're only for form of performing.
Now, when I saw Amon Amarth and Ghost, the acoustics was just off the hook.
It's wonderful. However, what time of the year did you see it?
oh, right in smack dab in the middle of the summer.
Exactly.
Correct. That's
yeah.
that's the best time to get somebody, but at that point they would rather get a bunch of rock bands,
This
which
is
is
true.
totally understandable.
Yep.
But for the big touring artists, like Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, the ones with the big sets where it's like they want to stay there for a good
Yeah, they
3
need, like,
days.
amphitheaters
They don't need an amphitheater. They need a stage with like a stadium level's worth of crowd to fit in.
Yes, and not to rip on Lucas Oil Stadium.
No, completely rip on it. It looks like a Kroger.
Well, okay. Actually, it looks like a marsh.
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah,
an
that's
old
fair.
marsh.
That's fair.
And then it costs what? What did they say? It was $50,000 to
good
$60,000 just to open the top windows.
Yeah.
pretty
And they
much.
do that maybe once a year if it's
You know,
good weather.
they did that for Guns N' Roses when they showed up in Indy and they charged 300 simoleons for seats. And then on top of that, they charged, what was it? If memory serves, you can correct me all you want in the comments section, by the way. When Poison, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, when they did their quad show at Lucas Oil, and the ticket prices were just insane.
Well, I mean, that sounds like Axl Rhodes because, Guns N' Roses, but...
Well,
Yeah. Well, they're still a fun band to watch too, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Def Leppard and everybody else too, for sure.
Well, speaking of things that didn't suck this year, Indiana ComicCon.
No, it didn't. It was
Yes,
awesome.
yeah, actually, it was really good.
Yeah, Indiana ComicCon was phenomenal. Honestly, that con, year after year, has continued to impress me. I have been going since 2018. I was really worried they weren't going to survive COVID because a lot of cons got shut down. GalaxyCon, which was in... I believe
Been in like Ohio and Kentucky.
it was.
Yeah.
I believe it was in Kentucky. They lost their con license,
Oh.
and that was like one of the biggest cosplay cons like in the world. So I was really worried about Indiana Comic Con, but they came back with a swinging. They came back with a vengeance.
I think it also benefited the fact that it was kind of the back end of quote unquote the end of COVID, even though it's not the end of COVID, but at least to the point where people could get together again finally.
Yeah.
And
Celebrate life.
Well, that, and I mean, I will say the biggest thing is I wish that our Comic-Con focused more on comics
Yeah.
instead of celebrities, but we had some really awesome celebrities here this year.
Oh, yeah, we
and,
did.
And they're gearing up to go again as well. They just announced Felicia Day. They just announced Summer's voice actress from Rick and Morty.
There's Will Wheaton,
Will
Anthony
Wheaton.
Daniels is finally
Yes.
coming here, which I'm super excited
was a
about.
huge
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I didn't get to see him at Celebration.
No, we wanted to go to a panel for his book really badly at Celebration, but for reasons we just
didn't get a chance
We
to.
just skipped out on it, which was a shame.
Yeah. Well,
So-
there's just too much going on all at the same time. You really do have to centralize what do you want to do, what can you miss.
Yes.
So
Well, and the panel organization was really good, and
that was good.
Yeah, it was just a really good time, good fun crowd.
And you know what was really cool? Nobody was a dick to each other.
No,
That was
No, not really.
That
I mean,
was just
and I
awesome.
think the nice thing is too, for those that are interested in it, if you have some kind of disability or you need like an AAD or ADA
Yep.
pass or anything like that, that was the easiest process I'd ever seen.
yeah,
Smooth.
you
Yeah.
just walked up to the booth, right, and you just explained.
I
what
just
was
explained to
going
him,
on.
hey, I just had surgery. I need kind of better seating so I can at least see things instead of just standing. And they immediately were like, okay, here's the band. Just go to the right side. Tell them what you need. The security people were really cool. They said, yeah, let's just go this way, and didn't have a problem.
I
So-
think Indiana Comic Con has also done a really good job at what I want to call controlled growth. They
Yeah.
know they're getting bigger, but they're not overstepping their bounds.
No.
Yeah.
I remember in a
They're
Q&A a while back for the organizers at the con itself, they asked, why don't we get any, huge Hollywood talent like, let's just say Tom Holland, because Spider-Man had just come out that year. They said if we could get Tom Holland, but the problem is we know not many people would pay the $500 autograph price to see Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And the line would probably be 3 hours long, if not longer than the con itself.
True.
Well, and who's the actor for the show Flash? I mean, he was packed all day.
I know who you're talking about, but I forget his name.
Like all weekend he was packed.
Yeah.
Are we talking John Wesley Shipp?
No.
No, it's the new, like the newer
the young one.
Flash show.
Okay.
Yeah. The one on CW.
Yes, correct us if we're wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in the comments section. We appreciate it.
Yeah, but his line was packed for 3 days.
I still can't believe James Arnold Taylor just walked up to us and started talking.
That was crazy.
Are you guys enjoying the con? How are you?
I thought he was staff. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing great. And then not realizing until I looked down at his badge and I was like, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I know that.
Hello there.
Yeah, literally, he just came right up to us because we were in the first line for Ashley Eckstein because we figured she was going to be busy.
Yep.
Which she was. Yeah.
And it was Star Queen's birthday too. That's why we went, and it was really cool. Ashley sang her happy birthday.
Yeah, she was such a sweetheart.
She was really, really cool.
Yeah, she was.
It's so weird because now I'm not sure if like some switch just like flipped in my head ever since I met Peter Cullen, but now when I've met people, I can recognize bits and pieces of the character that they've put into them.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
makes sense. So like,
James Arnold Taylor,
yes,
he was refusing to drop Tech and literally Rex and anybody you like mentioned, he immediately went to that version of the voice and stuff.
Well, that was D. Bradley Baker.
Or D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah, James Arnold Taylor.
Taylor was awesome too, though.
Well, Guy is a huge goofball and troll, and like on the panel, I remember he came out like Naruto running, like
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and God, that was a really good con.
Yep, got a chance to meet.
You met Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar,
He was really cool, actually.
Really neat. He also did a lot of his voices and stuff like that, and
he did. He was Kit Fisto, wasn't he? In Clone Wars?
Oh my God, he's done so many voices.
Done John Stewart Green Lantern for Justice League for so many years.
Yep.
He was Jazz in Transformers Animated as well.
Yep, and he's like countless Futurama voices and all those kind of things. Me sandwich.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about these people is that they're nerds too.
Oh yeah.
They were
100%.
nerds like us first, and then all of a sudden they just happen to make it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was a story about, actually speaking of Hollywood talent, the one year they got Michael Rooker at Indiana ComicCon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he got into the PA system. Nobody knows how he got into the PA system. He just did. And he yelled at everybody over the PA system to, hey, you bunch of fucking nerds, make sure you got something nice for your girlfriends at home.
Yep. Yep, that's how you do it.
Yeah, there are so many like good stories, good vibes from that con. It's a very family friendly con. There was lots of families there, I noticed this year.
And lots of mom and pop shops that got, booths.
Yeah.
So. I loved it. I got to put this out there. If they're going to have to put out more trade paperbacks, more graphic novels, hey guys, just bring them in. We'll buy them. No problem.
Well, the thing is, I think they invite every like comic shop in Indiana, but if I recall correctly, there was something going on in Chicago that weekend. I don't want to say it was C2E2, but I want to think.
Actually, I think it was C2E2.
Was it C2E2? Yeah. I think it was because it was in And I know a lot of comic shops chose to go to C2E2, which I don't blame them. It's the bigger con. Yeah,
and then it was also in Florida was the, what do they call that one, a MegaCon or whatever it is?
Oh, yeah, it was MegaCon. Down there.
That was also going the same weekend, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough, toss-up, I think. Just a lot of places overlapped, and so people really got to choose, like, what's closer for you.
It's the season.
It is the season.
Well, it's the start of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think, like, if Gen Con kind of marks the end of the... Well, actually, no, Gen Con doesn't really mark the end of the season. That's RaptorCon now. RaptorCon marks kind of the end of the season, which is more of a cosplay-heavy con in Evansville. Gen Con is kind of like the peak of the season, I want to say.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and also with that time frame, obviously, Gen Con
as well, which I was very surprised about, and I was able to fool a table of new players into thinking I was a veteran Transformers player when I'd only played my character there.
So, we talked about that a couple times, and that was fun.
Gen Con was off the hook. I loved it.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
a bit of a shame about what happened with Lorcana, but I don't want to say I called it, but I kind of did.
I lost pretty much all interest in Lorcana.
I think everyone was just hyping it up for no particular reason. It's a fun little game, but like the magic killer...
Scalper magic.
I think Scalper's just kind of hopped on it, thinking this was going to be the new hotness when it
when,
wasn't.
when I went outside to the food trucks and get a glass of wine and some food, and then all of a sudden I heard this, "Hey kid, you want to buy some Lorcana cards?"
Oh, God.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, it was
Wheeling and dealing in the parking lot.
yeah, pretty much. It was like, okay.
Meanwhile, I'm inside listening to this indie little game company being like, yeah, so I developed this game about the ocean with my kids to help them learn about fish. I'm like, that sounds really cool. Tell me more.
Yeah, and you guys met all kinds of different people there too. But following pretty much right after, there's a wonderful Toho movie that came out that I seem to be the only person that's seen it in this table. Godzilla -1.
Yeah, explain this one to me.
Okay, so are you a fan of old school Toho Godzilla?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. Do you like the... Well, I'm trying to think of how to really word this. So did you like the Legends one? So like the newer trilogy that just came out?
Oh, absolutely.
Like King of the Monsters, which was one of my favorites. Out of Legends.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that version, but like with the Toho modified, more angry, evil looking head of Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
So the story itself takes place at basically the literal end of World War II. It's about a Japanese kamikaze fighter pilot that decided that he wanted to live and not, do the things that kamikaze people do.
Right.
And he comes back and, he starts getting kind of dishonored and, disrespected by the people that were fixing his vehicle because they said that, hey, your plane's completely fine. What are you doing here? And then they realized what was going on. Well, here comes Godzilla out of nowhere.
Whoops.
This is like the little baby version of Godzilla at this point. So came out of the water, just started wrecking the island and all that, killing basically everybody off.
And this was pre-nukes to feed him.
Well, and he got some nukes, obviously, from, Little Boy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Fat Man Little Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically kind of what they led to what would have caused that.
Okay.
The radiation to come from there. So flash forward, basically, he's kind of like, that's the thing about like old school Godzilla movies. You don't care about the characters that much.
Right.
No, because they're just people there and people are made to go squish.
Yeah. And Godzilla go burr.
Yeah, Godzilla go burr, people go squish.
Yeah. Well, in this movie, they actually did a absolutely wonderful job of making you like the characters. You
That's
wanted
what
good
I've
things
heard.
for the characters.
Right.
And they made Godzilla actually scary.
Really?
Yeah. So if you saw Shin Godzilla, which personal opinion, completely from everybody else, I didn't like that version.
I
even
like
though
Shin
that
Godzilla.
I know you did, but they tried to. So Shin in Japanese is remake. Rebirth type deal.
Right.
Same thing with like Shin Kamen Rider and all those other things that came out, which Shin Kamen Rider was actually phenomenal. But anyway,
Right.
I digress. In this movie, they made Godzilla actually look like originally how Toho made Godzilla to be the fallout of World War II. Like that's why Godzilla was created, because he was supposed to show the, what happened essentially and all the terrors and horrors and all that stuff.
Right.
So the main character, he's dealing with PTSD from everything going on.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. He meets a homeless woman who happened to pick up a child that basically, I guess their parents might have suffered from, the bomb and all that stuff.
Radiation poisoning.
That, or, they got vaporized.
Just got killed.
They don't tell you really. It's just off camera type stuff. But they kind of find a shack. They kind of, fill up and, fix the shack up and all that stuff. And then they end up living together kind of like friends, but they're also taking care of the kid. The kid starts to obviously see them as mom and dad.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of built on that and all that stuff. And, he's dealing with actual trauma while she's dealing with trying to, be strong for both of them and all that. And you really feel for those characters. Well, Godzilla comes back.
Oops.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Godzilla comes back for a huge chunk of the movie. That's also another thing. They did an excellent job of pacing Godzilla in this instead of just giving you 15 minutes at the end of the movie of him wrecking shit. This movie, he just wrecks everything.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're actually coming up with like the task force to actually take care of them. They're talking about how they're going to take American magnet mines from the water to try to, trap him and all this other stuff. Well, Godzilla can also, because of his radiation, can heal himself.
Oh, wow.
So when Godzilla is taking damage and it's showing you the bits and pieces that blew off of him, he gets scarred. Like it doesn't rebuild his scales and stuff. So now he's getting grosser and like, I guess I don't want to say like more realistic, but more realistic.
Right.
So it adds all this huge amounts of like horror for Godzilla.
So in other words, this is Godzilla plus body horror.
Kind of. It's not like intense body horror, but it's enough to make you get the feeling of, oh shit, like we can't kill this thing like naturally.
Right.
So yeah, there was that. And then, yeah, like I said, character development was wonderful. There's a point in the movie that kind of made me laugh that like, oh, maybe they did run out of their budget. There's some tanks in there that look like they were made from Ubisoft. They're very pixelated and very kind of pointy looking.
Okay. But then again, this was World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end, they were supposed to be like that.
Right. Well, and again, I think they don't even have any more of those tanks. So that's obviously, recreating it. But they had the original plane, some of the planes, which is really cool to see. But yeah, I mean, it was just really good. I don't want to ruin the whole entire thing. There's a lot that happens. That's just kind of a general synopsis. Like, it's worth it. And the fact that movie, one, is beating out Shin Godzilla as far as sales. Two, beating out Hollywood in general for a $15 million, I think it was $50 million budget. Marvel and Disney and everyone else are spending 200, 300 million and all that stuff. And it looks like shit.
Yeah.
This movie comes in with like a $50 million budget and is using more live props, some CG, obviously. Obviously, the huge chunk of their budget went into Godzilla, which was good.
Yes.
Well, if of all the things you want to spend it on, you probably want to spend it on the thing your movie is about.
Yes. Well, considering it's not done like the old school ones where it's like the Super Sentai things where it's some guy in a suit and he's ravaging this little tiny play set. It's a full blown Godzilla, so obviously it has to be CG, but it looks really good. The movie's good. The lighting is good. It just makes you feel things for the characters. Probably my favorite movie of the year.
So in other words, regardless of how minuscule, you have to work your ass off in order to get that movie up and running. Unlike the arrogance of the mouse that spends so much money on what?
I don't even think it's arrogance at this point. That I can't remember her name, but the actor for Miss Marvel, she basically came out recently and said, like, no, this isn't a fatigue problem. It's not an arrogance problem. It's just the people who are currently writing these characters aren't passionate about said characters.
Right, they're not big Marvel fans. They're Disney workers.
Yeah, there are people out there who love these characters like her, who basically campaigned to become Miss Marvel, and now she's also writing the Miss Marvel comics too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's how much she loves Miss Marvel. And even like from when she was 18, she was writing into Marvel saying, if you're going to add Miss Marvel into the Marvel universe, you need to do this, and this with her. You need to make sure the actress is this, and this. Like, it's not a matter of arrogance. It's a matter of just people aren't vibing with the new people they've got coming up. And I mean, some of these people are a bit of a harder sell, I will say as well.
They are, and also, as much of 2023 is quickly figured out, shows from Disney works way better than movies.
Sometimes you just have to. Can somebody fucking tell Zack Snyder this before? Oh,
we'll get to that. That was 2023.
Before part 2 of the 4-hour car of the 8-hour movie of Rebel Moon.
God, we'll get into that. That'll be in the last little bit of the segment, but yeah, no, and that is 2023 was a big marker for shows, especially for Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
we had Andor,
and oh my god, that was phenomenal.
I still want to go back and rewatch it because it's so good.
Yeah,
some of the best writing in Star Wars we have had in a long fucking time.
One of the best casts too.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It was like they just went through over the entire script with a fine-tooth comb and made sure the continuity was perfect.
Continuity was good. The character cast was good. The general story of not just guys with laser swords.
No.
It's big space wizards in space on big space adventure. Like,
Which is fine and dandy. That's fine. You could do that as like a movie or whatever, but there's a lot more into Star Wars, the galaxy itself. And Andor did an excellent job of doing it.
Yeah, because writers take their time. Good writing takes time.
well, not to mention Stellan Skarsgård. Holy fuck.
An actual good spacing of the episodes, not just
Yes.
a 5 or 6 episode drop and that's it.
Andy Serkis actually getting to show off how
Oh
good
my
of an
God.
actor he is.
He's on my bucket list to meet too. I think he's going to be at Celebration in Japan. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but if he is, I'll definitely be there.
Hey, that was something we did this year. We watched all 3 of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh, we did. Yes. Yeah. So Star Queen had actually never seen the ones where basically the birth of Andy Serkis is as far as like his CGI and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, I mean, that was Gollum, but
Well,
you know.
Gollum, yes, but like his studio took off because of Planet of the Apes.
I don't know why I never saw those movies, but yeah, Redemus asked me one day, he was like, have you ever seen these movies? I was like, actually, no, I never have.
Yeah, and because of the holidays, those box sets were getting cheaper, and unfortunately, companies like Best Buy are starting to get rid of all their physical media and stuff.
Of course.
And that's when I take advantage of things because
Absolutely.
I'm a quote unquote historian.
Historian.
According
air
to
quotes.
Well, and according to Guillermo del Toro,
Yes.
that was actually something that happened last year. He said that people that collect movies and all those things are not hoarders; they are historians. Yeah, because that is saving media. What's going to happen when everything goes digital?
Oh boy.
One, you don't own it. You pay for it, but you don't own it.
Yeah, because all you got is just air in your hands and nothing else.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of the thing. You could say all you want about Netflix and all the other companies and all that stuff, but that is the thing. If you collect media, this year I really started collecting a lot of anime, like older anime and stuff like that.
Yes.
And if you guys are interested in it, we could talk about our top animes, top movies, whatever as well this year. Yeah, that was a big thing. I took advantage of that, got those because I saw the first one when it first came out. I had actually never seen the original ones. My dad grew up on them, just like Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'd seen the original ones.
Yeah, I haven't really I don't know why. I just never saw it. Like he was watching them and maybe I remember as a kid, like kind of interested in it, but then like something distracted me or something Star Wars came on. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
It's one of those things, or a video game was on or something. So
I remember the original Planet of the Apes, written by Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone. And that was one of his few scripts that he was about ready to introduce into the world. But CBS said, oh, it's too big. Rod said, I'll just save this for another day. And he did.
Which is probably a good thing. There is a thing I was watching earlier today, too, about why certain projects have massive amounts of timing when they come out.
Yes.
I think it was Gene Roddenberry is what I saw. He was working on a project back in the 70s, and then he canned it, and now he's been working on revamping it and stuff like that because now it makes sense to be here type deal.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's a cool factor. But yeah, we watched those. Star Queen really enjoyed them. I enjoyed them too because I hadn't seen the other two. It's just something fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
But
yeah.
I have Charlton Heston on the beat saying, damn it, they blew it up.
Yeah, the big twist at the end.
You
It turns
damn
out
dirty apes.
it was Earth all along.
Damn you. Yeah. You could also go back to the Jane and Silent Bob quote too. Damn you. That was so funny. But yeah, so I mean, that was some really cool stuff. And, towards the end of the year, we had like Ahsoka and those kind of things, which were okay.
Yeah, Ahsoka I think was just okay. Like
It wasn't bad. It took too long to get to Thrawn for Filoni to literally say, hey, I'm going to put out a Heir of the Empire actual movie.
It also doesn't help that in a lot of these shows, I have started to tell where the soundstage starts and ends. And in a lot of those like platform scenes of the Chimera, I'm like, okay, I know we're on a soundstage. I just know we're on a soundstage, and I think the fact they kept cutting back to it as well also didn't help.
Maybe.
Somebody also pointed out the reason why a lot of those lightsaber fights look so stiff in Ahsoka now, as opposed to the prequels where, people are like whipping around lightsabers like they're nunchucks.
Yeah.
They actually switched the materials for the lightsabers themselves, so they're less on the CGI team for them to bring to life, but on the flip side, they're heavier for the actors to work with.
They are. However, the other stick to that is they really made Ahsoka stick with Lone Wolf and Cub. If you actually pay attention to her fighting styles, and I'm not like a fighting specialist, but she definitely did a lot more samurai-esque fighting.
It's amazing. You could take inspiration from Akira Kurosawa from Seven Samurai.
As George did.
Oh, yeah. But I like Akira Kurosawa. I like the inspiration behind it, but I don't want to live in it in every episode.
I listened to something on my way to work that said, this is why you wouldn't survive in feudal Japan.
Yeah, very much.
Well, and I think with the Lone Wolf and Cub thing, like, Ahsoka she's not a stoic character, and it feels
She
like...
really isn't. She became a stoic character, which, I mean,
it kind of
it's okay, but it's not Ashley Eckstein's.
It kind of feels like that when it's not Rosario Dawson either. It kind of feels like they're holding her back a little bit, and I don't know why.
I think it all stems from the fact that the character is not just... She's coming into her own wisdom.
Well, she came into her own wisdom a long time ago when she
She did that through the books.
Not just through the books, but she did that in Rebels when Vader was about to kill her. She realized it was Anakin, and opposed to just killing him right there and ending it, she crumbled the floor underneath him so he would live. So she's already there. So at this point, I'm just like, what's going on here? Does it feel like she's still being held back for some reason?
Don't know.
The mouse is holding her back. That's why.
Yeah, I guess.
It's the mouse.
The more I keep looking back into it, I feel like at this point, Ahsoka needed to be the stoic, old school Jedi, and it's kind of what they were trying to return her to. I mean, she's not that young, snippy, anymore.
No.
But I do think that as far as the writing right now, I think it's gotten a little lazy. Simply the fact that you can't just keep saying, oh, my past, I fought Anakin and everything.
Ben Reilly up in here. Oh, my past.
Yeah, Ben Reilly,
so painful.
Scarlet Spider, you know what I mean?
I was just thinking about my
Everything is
past.
dark.
It's so painful.
I failed Sabine, even though I had nothing really to do with
Here's
Sabine
the
until the end of Rebels.
Here's the number to my therapist.
Yeah, but anyway, I get it that they were trying to obviously continue Ahsoka because people love Ahsoka, right? You
Right.
can't just get rid of her.
No.
So, in order for her character to progress, then she kind of needed to go down that cliche line to maybe she's going to flourish when the Heir of the Empire movie comes out.
Ooh.
I mean, we don't know when we're going to get Mando season 4, if we even get season 4, because season 3 literally ended on kind of a question mark, but kind of like okay.
What's the point?
It was more of like I guess the route they're trying to go for Mandalorian now is, it's called The Mandalorian, but it's not called Din Djarin, so I guess we might be following Bo-Katan and what's going on in Mandalore soon. I don't know, but...
I don't know. How are they going to drop that Mythosaur thing and then do nothing with it yet? You know what I mean? So there's got to be something bridging for that.
I think if they are going to do that Heir to the Empire movie, that Mythosaur thing's going to come back in
Eats Thrawn.
Either that or it's going to chomp the Chimera and drag it down into the depths of Mandalore. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, that'd be kind of swift justice.
Because I have a feeling they're going to do the whole, Last Jedi thing of all hope is lost. And then, we already know that Grogu can talk to animals. And I don't know. Maybe we'll have a fake out with Boba and his Rancor, and the Rancor dies, and then Grogu does the little hand thingy, and the Mythosaur comes and eats Thrawn. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, obviously, because of continuity, Thrawn does have to die at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's not going to be... Now, I hope, not to dwell on it too long, I hope that they do, if they're going to kill off Thrawn, I hope that they do it correctly, and they keep him dead.
Yeah.
Because this whole, the Force doesn't keep everyone dead forever. thing with like, we just magically have all the technology and back to tanks everywhere now.
Yeah, why is everyone surviving lightsaber wounds now? Like, everyone and their mother is surviving them now. It's just like, oh, okay, they just got stabbed. It was all right.
Vengeance really gives you the will to live.
I guess.
God damn it, that fucking Grand Inquisitor, that makes me so mad. I love that. I love that character in Rebels, and then they just shit on him because that guy doesn't watch Rebels and just did his own thing.
Yeah.
Drove me nuts. Anyway.
Yeah, it's
it's bad.
I hope it gets better. I really do.
I do too.
They are adapting Thrawn Alliances into a graphic novel finally. That kind of shocked me that
Coming
was still
back
happening.
finally, yeah.
Because before COVID, they were going to adapt all 3 novels into a graphic novel, but sadly, only the first one got adapted, and then the plague happened.
True.
And now that thankfully there's a second reprint.
And now there's a reprint, so the first one isn't $500 anymore.
Yay.
Yeah. So, and if you have a chance to pick it up, 100% worth it. It is in point for each of the Thrawn trilogy books. So starting with Thrawn was the next one, Alliance, and then Thrawn Treason.
Yes.
So it's going to follow those. So if you're not interested in reading the books, which you should get them on Audible, and this is not me trying to sponsor anything, but the books are phenomenal on Audible.
Actually,
the sounds are amazing.
I'll bet.
Speaking of Star Wars things to look forward to, we do have Tales of the Jedi Season 2 that is confirmed to be coming out, which the Ahsoka episodes are, good, but the Count Dooku episodes,
yeah, they were really
they
good.
feel like the Clone Wars episodes we should have had.
Yes, and we'll kind of touch on that part on the secondary section of the podcast here, but we were ending towards the end of the year of 2023, and we actually were invited by Krypton Comics and Eric Singer, the owner, to come to a New Year's Eve party down there to play some games and all that kind of stuff.
Such a magical
Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a magical place.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
Eric.
And we're hoping to do a video episode there because that place is like a museum. You guys have to see it. Hopefully you'll see it through our eyes, and then you can go experience it.
Yes.
It's down in Martinsville. If you want to go ahead and jump ahead, just tell them 8-Bits sent you. We had a chance to kind of ask some people on, kind of what they thought, and we were getting the newsman on the streets.
Cue the typewriters, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so we're going to go talk to Redimus on the street, and he's going to interview a few people to kind of see what their 2023 looked like and what they're excited for 2024.
Here we go.
All right, so we're here at Krypton Comics, enjoying the New Year's. Happy New Year's, everyone. We are here with some of our gaming friends and some new people we've met, and we wanted to kind of ask, starting with Eric, the owner, what did 2023 look for you?
2023 was pretty exciting. We had a new location that we got a full year in. The cosplay events we did all went successful. The parades we did went all successful. We did a couple cons that we set up at and sold merchandise at, so it was a pretty successful year.
And do you have any gaming plans, cosplay plans?
Possibly Bizarro Superman. And I'm possibly working on his General Zod.
Ooh, that would be exciting, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of parades, cosplay. Actually, a couple first place wins, cosplays. Plenty of gaming at the new store. A lot of effort gone into this place. Probably $50,000 worth of work into it to get it up to this point. So, wow. Yes.
And then what does 2024 look nerd-wise for you?
Well, hopefully we're going to be doing some group cosplay, Gen Con, maybe a couple new characters I'm going to possibly work on.
All right, thank you, Redimus. We're back at the stage here.
Yay!
So let's talk about 2024 here now. What are you guys excited for this year? I mean, you already kind of mentioned Tales of the Jedi Season 2 is 2024.
So 2024, I have a goal. I wasn't able to hit it last year, unfortunately. I wanted to read 100 books last year, and I only got to 75. So I want to try and hit that 100 this year.
That's a good one.
It's amazing. As soon as we hit 2024, and this is not a joke, the day after we came back, one of the biggest bands in history was coming to Indy, broke up. And that was Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, seriously?
Oh,
I didn't even hear anything about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine broke up, and I know for some of you Slipknot fans,
Oh yeah, I heard about the whole shtick with that too.
Oh,
going on.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
lawsuits.
The lawsuits and stuff.
it's not just lawsuits. Corey Taylor's mental and physical state is in decline.
I'm sure. I mean, doing those vocals for so long and everything else, I'm sure one basically quote unquote battle fatigue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I was hoping to see Rage Against the Machine, but there's a silver lining in this. WrestleCon is coming to Indianapolis, and my nephew is coming with me to see one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. His name is Sting.
from what was it, WCW, right? Is that what he was in originally, or
pick
NWA?
one.
He was in
NWA.
all of them, wasn't he?
Pick one.
Because we're talking about the guy that has the
He-
white
he
and
was-
black
Yep.
face makeup and beats everybody with bats.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes,
We're
that's
talking about the
Sting.
same person. That is pretty cool.
Mr. Stephen Borman. He was in WCW and then WWE, and then before all that, he was with AWA, American Wrestling Association, with either Bill Watts or help me out here in the comments. Anyway, he has been one of the greatest phenomenon wrestlers in history, and now he's going to be doing a Q&A now that he's finally retired.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he looks in phenomenal shape, especially for his age.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for all the things that they do stunt wise.
Yeah, no kidding. Actually, Mr. Lovecraft, there is something I think you should check out in 2024. The current run of Transformers is getting ready to launch their first paperback. It's being done by Image Comics now. And their author, Daniel Warren Johnson, and their artist is a very big wrestling fan. Like a huge wrestling fan. And there is a very famous panel going around right now of Optimus Prime suplexing Starscream.
Okay, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yes, and so he is taking a
Here
lot.
comes Optimus with the chair.
It's Bumblebee with the steel chair.
He's off the top rope.
Yeah, there is a lot of inspiration from wrestling.
And the cover!
He previously worked on a comic called Do a Powerbomb, which was about the world of wrestling.
Oh, wow.
So
That's actually really cool.
and the colors are very vivid, very over the top. The storyline is a bit simplistic. I know he's working on G.I. Joe right now as well. I'm not sure what the story is there, but I would definitely recommend you checking that out.
I am so checking that
The
out.
first paperback, I want to say, comes out in either it's February or maybe it's March.
A lot of good stuff's coming out in February.
2024 is going to be a very exciting year for nerdism,
Oh,
Yes.
God.
especially for Free Comic Book Day.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
super excited. The gold tier and silver tier books this year, oh my God, phenomenal. They actually have limited edition Free Comic Book Day covers too,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
and they haven't released them yet. Yeah,
That-
which is
yeah.
fine, which is cool. I'm sure they'll do it when it's a little closer. However, that is the biggest time to go, celebrate your local comic book shops around May.
Yes.
And it's on Star Wars Day this
It
year,
is.
May 4th.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
we
It's Saturday.
We need a full nerd day on that.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
I'm
watch
literally-
Star Wars, stay the night, do Star Wars role playing or Star Wars Legion or Star Wars X-Wing, pick your poison.
speaking of roleplay, that was also another goal of mine this year, was to get some more of my characters actually drawn up by artists, and I have one that's going right now. I already have my Marvel character drawn, and Star Wars I think will probably be my last one because I'm getting ready to do something very special for them. So
Yeah. So that was one of my biggest things that I'm trying to get done this year is kind of my resolutions. One, revamp the Star Wars RPG, which we are actually playing the next weekend.
yes.
Yay.
So on the 14th.
Yay. So prepare for more stories, prepare for more shenanigans.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm probably going to make its own little playlist too to kind of like go over storytelling and all that kind of stuff. If you guys are interested in it, let me know in the comments below.
Yes.
Maybe we can actually stream it at some point. If we get enough people subscribe to the channel and they show enough interest, we'll do it live on Twitch, and you guys can also interact with us and all those kind of things too. I'm very, very, very cinematic when I do my role playing and all those kind of things. It's not just sitting there with pencil and paper. I spend a shit ton of money that I probably don't need to.
There was 2 packages here yesterday
There's
that
2
I wasn't
packages.
allowed to see.
Yes, there's 2 packages. We've got resin printers, 3D printers constantly going to make scenery and all this other stuff. I do scents, so aka like spraying things that will smell like, areas that you're into. Like Naboo, it might smell like a foresty kind of rivery smell.
It's lovely.
Oh, it's awesome.
And Coruscant smells like vanilla.
Well, yes, yeah. So there's a story behind that too. There's a really shitty frosted vanilla candle we've talked about before, but it smelled like oil and grease, and that's what it was described as. Coruscant kind of smells like when you're in the lower levels. So yeah. So we'll return to that story. I'm really excited to get it up and running. I know we've got a few friends that are wanting to do like G.I. Joe, Transformers, D&D continuations, and all those kind of things. One of our friends has a massive amounts of Dwarven Forge.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yes, and that set's awesome. Again, not even sponsored at all by Dwarven Forge, but man, that stuff's awesome. Man, it's expensive.
We also have a friend doing, I believe it's Critical Role's campaign as well,
Yep,
where I am currently playing a penguin.
Yeah, interesting characters for sure. So that's exciting. I'm trying to learn at least business level fluency of Japanese by the end of the year, as 2025 is my trip to Japan for both Star Wars Celebration and to see friends and family that live over there. So that's also my big thing. The other one is going back to school, hopefully this year, for video game development.
Awesome.
Much with a lot of the bad things that had happened this year, we didn't really talk about them. However, the good news is of that, there was always silver linings. It came into a little bit of an inheritance, and it was able to allow me to go back to school. So I'm really grateful for that.
Good.
So,
Good.
big things.
And finally, I've been trying to write a comic book.
Oh, there you go. I mean, if you could finish that by 2024, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great goal. And then try to see if you can get it published.
Oh, I can't wait.
Surprisingly, there is quite a few small publishing places here in Indiana.
Really?
Well, and from working in the industry myself, I know a few of them. So I mean, if you get to the point where you're able to pitch something, maybe we can have some conversations with them.
Awesome.
Yeah. If anybody in Indiana, comic-wise, is listening to that, shoot us an email. 8bits and dice rolls podcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
Let us know if you're interested.
Yep. Rider.
Yes. So, but yeah, we've had a lot of really awesome things to talk about in 2023. Super excited for 2024. Hopefully going to play more video games. Hopefully see some more cosplay stuff. I know I'm working on some 3D prints. And like I said, we're actually getting ready to go play some more games this weekend.
Yes, we are.
Continue the nerdiness. So what is your guys' plans for 2024? How was your 2023? Let us know in the comment below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because that lets us know, when new content is coming out for you. We let you know that, you like it and all that good stuff.
Do those wonderfully weird YouTube things that hit the algorithm pretty hard.
Yeah, because we want money. No, I'm just kidding. So we can continue this. No, I'm just kidding. We do this as a hobby, passion project. So I hope that, at least you guys are along the path with us as we continue to grow. Another big thing for 2024 is I'm hoping to do quite a few more interviews, with other YouTubers and, entertainment folks and things like that. I think it'd be really awesome if we can get a small-time celebrity on here.
Including upcoming podcasters.
Podcasters, yeah. We're talking about some wrestling stuff this year. I've also, since Lovecraft and I have been talking about wrestling quite a bit, we watched Royal Rumble. Star Queen and I sat down last year and watched a Royal Rumble, the women's one, and we had a blast. Like, I forgot how fun wrestling can be. So that'll be an exciting episode coming up as well, too. So, but thanks everybody for joining us on our first episode of 2024. And as always, make sure to put that coin in the slot, hit that power button, roll for initiative, and we'll see you next time.
Laters.
Bye.